have any challenge, I'll get back to you.
Right, sure. Right, so you're welcome again. When you launch the Microsoft project software, this is, for many people, the defaults. All right, you will see this is the standard defaults. You can change the defaults. I'll show you how to do that so that when you launch it, anytime you open it, it will show you what you want to see first. But this is the defaults. And these defaults is divided into two halves. We have the tax form. The tax form on the left, or some people will call it table, activity table, or whatever it is, but the standard is the tax form. And then we have the Gantt chart with time scale. So all these plays is the Gantt chart, and this is the time scale. You can adjust the time scale to show you the intervals. It can be days. This one is in days. You can show it in weeks, in months, in quarter, and so on. I'll show you all of that. When you take the tax form, it's divided into columns. The first column is an indicator column or information column. So you may have made some notes, or you may have some issues. If the software wants to prompt you on maybe some issues, resource overallocation or scheduling conflict and all of that, it will appear here. And then we have the tax mode. The tax mode will display and show you whether the tax or your scheduling is in auto mode or manual mode. So you have auto scheduling and manual scheduling, and that will also show here. And of course, the tax or the activity you want to schedule or that constitutes the work that you are doing on the project will be entered here. The duration, the start date, the finish date, then this is where you introduce the logic to show the sequence, the order in which the work is supposed to be done. So we call the predecessor. So in Microsoft project, we use the predecessor to determine the logic, because the predecessor is normally the driver. All right, the predecessor is the driver. It's usually the driver of the relationship. So we use the predecessor to define the logic. And of course, here we look at the resource, right? The resources you assign to each task will appear here. You can create new columns to show different project parameters. So all you need to do is to click the arrow down and then choose from among all these information to display. You can create as many columns as you want. I'll show you how to create other layouts so you don't have to show too many things at a time here. All right, so this is the tax form. Now, when you come to the Gantt chart, this is the Gantt chart. And at the moment, you realize that it is plain. And then you see some ash colors, okay? This shows the working days and non-working days within the calendar. And the default calendar will show Monday to Friday as working days with plain background, and then Saturdays and Sundays as non-working days, indicating some kind of ash or light ash background. This is to distinguish working days from non-working days on the Gantt chart. And you can format this Gantt chart to show different colors and different appearances and so on. Right, so for some people, if they want to change this, someone will say that, okay, I want the grid lines all through. When you click it, it will show. But other ways you can also do that is to come to anywhere on the Gantt chart here, right-click on it. Once you right-click on it, you will see grid lines, bar style, layout, non-working, progress, blah, blah, blah. So you click on grid lines. Once you click on grid lines, Gantt rows. Do you want to see the rows? At the moment, there's nothing here. There's no row. It's just plain. So you can click here, type. What row type do you want? Let's say I want the tick line. What color do you want? Automatic is black, right? So you leave it at black. What intervals do you want to give? So I will show you this. You come to others, you choose 5. So it is interval of none, 2, 3, 4, 5. I choose 5. And pay attention and look at it carefully. And then I come here, I choose between every 5 grid lines, I want a different kind of line and I want a different kind of color. Let's put red there. Click OK. So you have, changed the look of your Gantt chart. So you see that between every dashed red line are 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's a separator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's a separator. You've changed your grid lines. So then it is easy to be able to trace a tax to the bar on the Gantt chart. Some people like it this way. So if you receive a schedule from someone and his is like this, this is how he or she did it. I don't like it that way. So I normally want it plain. Again, the non-working days, you can also right-click on it, right? And then go to grid lines. No, you go to non-working. So you go to non-working time. Let's start. You want to change the formatting of the non-working days. So you right-click on it, you go to non-working time, then you see you have tabs here. These tabs controls the time scale. So we haven't come to the time scale yet. So I'll leave the top tier, the middle tier, and then the bottom tier, and I'll come to non-working. So when you click on non-working tab, the current color is what we see here. So you can change the color to maybe a very light version of blue. This is how it will look. If you like it, you click OK. If you don't like it, you change the color to maybe something like this. This is how it will appear. And then maybe I like it this way. I click OK. Because we have not formatted our calendar for the project, the default calendar is a standard calendar. In a standard 5-week calendar, we work for 5 days, Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we don't work. So every day that you make a non-working day, even if it is a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, or Friday, it will look like this. It will black it out. And once you make it a non-working day, activities will not be scheduled on that day or on those days. This is the basic formatting of the Gantt chart. So we want to, undo it. So I go to grid lines. I choose empty. I choose none. I click OK. It is gone. I right-click again. I go to non-working. I click on non-working. On the color column, I drop it down. And then I look for the lightest color as it used to be. Let me see. Okay, I can manage this. All right. So this is to help you to be able to navigate the interface. All right. So this is the first part of it. Any question on this? Tax form, Gantt chart. Now, at the bottom here, okay, at the bottom here, if you can see, these are shortcuts to navigate layouts or interface or sheets. So currently, this is the default. The tax form with Gantt charts. This is the default, this one. Right? Now, you can change the defaults to tax usage. You click on it, it moves you to tax usage. You can change to team planner, then it moves you to team plan. We haven't entered anything yet, so you won't see anything. But once we do it, you will see them. And then the next is the resource sheets. You click on it, it takes you to the resource sheets. Now, these things can also be found in the menus, the tabs here, all right? But this is the easy ways to navigate or to change your layouts or to change the interface, right? Without going through resource and resource sheet and all of that, all right? So these are the easy layout. And this is reports. The last one is reports. So normally the last report you opened, when you click on this, it will take you to that report. So we've looked at tax form, Gantt charts, and then the shortcuts. Now, once you also come to the edge, the right side corner here, this side, the right side corner, this side, these are also areas you can be able to navigate or change the interface of the software. So you come here, you right click. Once you right click, it gives you the options to be able to choose and navigate the interface. So the interface or the layout that you are seeing now will always be ticked or will be clicked, right? It will be checked. So right now, this interface we are seeing is a Gantt chart interface. The tax form with a Gantt chart. We can change this to Gantt chart with tax, network diagram, tax, and all of that. So from time to time, you will see me here right-clicking here and then changing the interface. Another area you can make those changes is this side, this column. All right. So normally you come here and you right click here. This also gives you access to menus. Okay, it gives you access to menus. So you realize that here, what has been ticked is entry. This is where you are going to enter your tax and other stuff. So entry. But when I right click here, I get Gantt chart. So the Gantt chart interface is the same as what this is called entry. So normally, when we are tracking project performance, when we want to check reports, we want to do other stuff, okay, check performance, this is where we access those menus. So this is where we get the project's actual report or interface, of the reports and all of that. All right, so Gantt chart with table, tracking, summary, and all of that. Okay, you can get more of this by right-clicking more. Okay, when you right-click more, you can get more of other project-related information and value and all those stuff. For tax and then for resource, you can get all of this. We will come back to this subsequently. So this is to help you to navigate your interface. Any question to this point? If there are no questions, this is your time scale. And like I mentioned, you can right-click on your time scale, click on time scale, and then you can make adjustments. I'll show you this later, but just to let you know that you can change this time scale, okay, into weeks, into months, into days, into quarter, into years, depending on the size of your project. Once we enter activities and have bars, I will come back here and then we will play with this to see how your Gantt chart will look like, depending on your time scale. Now, above the task form and the Gantt chart is what we call the timeline. The timeline. The timeline will show you the start date of the project and the end date of the project. And so as the project progresses, you'll see some indicators here. Once you finish your planning, you will see when the start date is, you see when the end date is. And you can insert activities on this timeline. I'll show you how it is done so that you can track those activities. You can click on those activities and then it will show you here, and then you'll be able to follow through to see whether you're on course or not. Above the timeline, if you don't have the timeline here, it may have been hidden, right? So if you open and you don't have the timeline, let me know. But I will show you when we are doing the background, the backend configuration. Above the timeline is what we call the address bar. Address bar. Now with address bar, you can enter data onto a cell through the address bar. And whatever you click here, whatever information or data you have here will show up on the address bar. Above the address bar is what we call ribbons. Ribbons. And these ribbons are organized into, they are organized under what we call tabs or menus or tabs, call them project tabs. The tabs are file, tax, resource, reports, projects, view, help, Gantt chart formats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tabs, call it project tabs. Project tabs. Now, each of these tabs has commands called ribbons, organized into groups based on the function they play to make it easy for you to also navigate and use them seamlessly. So when we take the file tab, that gives us this kind of commands, and this is similar to all Microsoft products. So when you click on file, you get new. So this one gives you a new project. This opens existing project, information, save, save as, print, share, export, close, and then accounts, and then options. We will come to options to do more at the back end, at the back end. When you come to tax tab, this has a number of commands called ribbons, organized into groups, and the name of this ribbon is called clipboard. So you realize that the ribbons are separated by vertical lines. So everything here is clipboard. Everything between these two lines is fonts. And then we have schedule. And then we have tax, insert, properties, edit. So it is called tax tab, Another tax tab, we have clipboard group, font group, schedule group, tax group, insert group, properties group, edit group. Within each group are what we call ribbons or commands. And they perform specific functions. And if you use Microsoft products, you've seen this and this. Okay, they are common. You know what they do. This is peculiar to Microsoft projects. This helps us to schedule. So they are schedule commands, right? This is outdents, indents, splits, link, okay, unlink, inactivate an activity, respect a link, mark it on track. You can indicate a task or an activity as 0 complete, 25%, 50, 75%, 100% complete. For tasks, a task can be manually scheduled, auto-scheduled. We can use the inspect, okay? Inspect for all tasks, show warnings, show suggestions, and then show ignored problems. You can use it to inspect issues. And then you can use this to move a task or a project if you want to change the date. You may have indicated that you are starting the project on a particular date, but the date has changed. So you want to move the date. Okay, so you can move. Okay, so you click on move and then you do that. And then mode. Is it auto scheduled mode or manual scheduled mode? So you can choose. Whatever you choose will be highlighted here. At the moment, it is manually scheduled. We haven't changed it. So this is highlighted. But once we change it to auto schedule, this will be highlighted. All right, so that is about this. And then we can insert a task by clicking this, insert a summary task, milestone, okay, and so on. And then we can check an information about a task. We can click here to open the activity details layouts. We can insert a note to an activity, okay, and then we can link or show multiple projects or those kind of stuff. We will do them here. So when you take a task, the task tab, these are the ribbons or these are the commands, and they are grouped as shown. Now, your role or your responsibility is to get familiar with the commands and where you will find them. And you become better at it with practice. Right? You become better at it with practice. So that if you want to link a task, you know that it is under task tab, okay, within the schedule group. If you want to, say, for example, insert a summary task, you know it's under task tab within the insert group. If you want to find information about an activity, you know it is under task tab within the properties group. All right, so this is something we are going to do. So normally the command will be under task tab in the properties group, click on notes. Then you know you have to come to the task tab and go to the properties group and then click on notes and then write your notes, right? Or click on information and do what you have to do there, all right? So this is it. It's same for this one, resource assignments, okay, insert, properties, leveling. So those of you who have done Microsoft, who have done the PFP already, we talked about leveling, right? So this is where you can level resource, can level all. This is the automatic one. I'll show you the manual one. The manual one is good, all right? But if you can't do the manual one, you can use the automatic. This is the AI one, all right? But I discourage the use of the automatic one because once you level out, sometimes it may create a lot of complexity for you because the software will give you suggestions, okay, which may affect something later on. So I'll show you the manual scheduling, the manual leveling, as well as the auto leveling. Then reports. You come to reports, you can create new reports, you can create dashboards, resource, costs, and all of that. We will do report on our last meeting. Then project tab. So apart from task tab, another important tab during the initial stages of your planning is the project tab. And when you come to the project tab, When you come to the project tab, again, you see project information. When you create a new project, you get an information, you can see the information, or even the ongoing project. At any given point in time, you can click to see some statistics. For example, when I click on this, it gives me the project information, and I can click here to get the statistics. All right, so current project, when is it starting, when is it finishing, what's the baseline, and all of that, and then the duration, the work, the cost. You get to know the percentage duration complete, percentage of work complete. You explain all of this, you get it. So you get such information under the project information. Then we have custom fields, right? We will talk about that. Normally, I don't like to teach this because you need to have mastered a lot of things to be worried or to be thinking about creating custom fields. And then linking projects. Okay, we'll talk about linking project or links between projects. And then WBS. We will look at creating WBS, work breakdown structure, using the code. We will define our code and then assign them to our projects. And then this is where we create the calendar for our projects. We will look at that today. From time to time, we will have to calculate our projects, but we want to set it automatically so that anytime we update our project, it will automatically recalculate. If you set it to manual, then it means that anytime you update your project, you have to come and click this to calculate the project. Then you will learn how to set a baseline. You always have to set a baseline before you start editing the project. The baseline saves a copy of the project against which whatever you are updating or whatever the actual performance is will be compared to give you your real project information. And again, you can also use this to move a project, to change the project start dates and finish dates. You will set your status dates. You can use it to update your project as well and proofing. So under the project tab, we have properties group, schedule, status, and proofing. Under the view tab, we have the tax views. This is where you can change layouts. You can show various sheets, the network diagram, calendar, other views. When you click on other views, you can see, you can even get more views, all right? And then you come here, resource views. You have team planner, resource usage, resource sheets, and you'll find the resource sheet here. Resource usage, resource usage. Okay, it's not here. It's here rather. Resource usage from the other custom when you click here, right? So that's about this. And then sort, outline, tables. Tables, you get the information you have here under table. When you click table, you get that same information when you right click here. So it's either you come to tables for this or you right click here for your information, right? These are things we'll go through all of them as we go along. Then time scale. Time scale. So you see the time scale here. That's your time scale here. That's your time scale. Currently, it's in days. All right. So if you have a small project, which will not take a longer time, maybe a few weeks, few months, normally you get to appreciate it better if your time scale is in days. But if you have a project where, I mean, it's about 2 years long project and most activities are scheduled in weeks, then if you make it in days, the bars will be too long, all right? So you will not have a very good view of the Gantt chart. So in that case, you change the time scale. Okay, you change it into weeks. Okay, into third of months, quarter, half year, year. So you can do those changes here, or you can right click here. You can right click here, and then you click on time scale, and also do it here. I'll show you how it is done. All right. So you either do it here under view tab, And then you come to the Zoom group, you can do the changes here and the time scale. You can also zoom, okay, by clicking on this, or you can click on this to show you the entire project. Maybe the bars are long, so many of the stuff are hidden out of view. So you click here, show entire project. Everything will be shrinked to show you, okay, within view. All right, so this is how it is done. Then timeline. This timeline you are seeing here, you are seeing it because it is checked. If I uncheck it, it goes away. So if yours is not there, go to View tab, and then under the Split View group, check the timeline. All right. When you check the timeline, it will show for you to see. And then the windows, new windows, and all of these macros. We will not cover macros. All right. But these are things we are going to go through as we go along. And then help. If you need help, you go through some of this. And then timeline formats or Gantt chart formats. Right, Gantt chart formats. This will show you the various ways or the various views that you need to know. All right, the various views you need to know. So here we have fonts, you have show or hide, you have insert, you have column, you have copy, and all of that. Right. And then Gantt chart formats, you can get all the formats. You can change the format as you want. And for each of the formats, you realize that the colors are two. So whatever you click, the colors come in two forms, two different colors. One is for manual scheduling, one is for auto schedule. All right, so any of these, this is the default, I guess. So let's enter a tax here under manual. So let's say tax A. Oh, I entered it at the wrong place. Tax A. This is manual scheduling. It comes with a pin, with a comma, a question mark. If you are using manual scheduling approach, you see, when you enter the tax, it will not give you any information. You won't get any information. Let's change this to auto schedule. And let's say tax B. Tax B will give you a suggestion. It will suggest to you based on the next available dates the tax can be done. So it will give you a suggestion. So that one will show you with a different logo. So see the color. Come to Gantt charts. We are using this one. This is the default. So you see that the top is taking this color. I don't know whether we can say turquoise green or turquoise blue or whatever color it is on the top. And then this one.
It's cyan.
Pardon?
Cyan.
Cyan, okay. I don't know colors. Right, so that is it for the top one, showing the pin with the arrow, and then the bottom one is this. All right, so for each of them, that is why you see it in twos. And we will look at the formatting, how to change the formatting, the style, the layout, right? We will look at all of that here. All right, so this is a suggestion. So it will ask you, is it 1 day? If you say no, 2 days or 3 days or 5 days, you enter 5 days. It shows the bar. But here, you have to indicate your duration yourself, say 5 days. Even after mentioning 5 days, you have to choose the date you want to start and the date you want to finish. Right? So when you choose the start date, because it's 5 days, it gives you the finish date. That's the difference. It's like automatic car and manual car. So you decide which of these works for you. But I mean, frankly speaking, manual scheduling makes the work easier. Sorry, auto scheduling makes the work easier. All right. So
Yes,
that
like
is, yeah. So that is how this works for the Gantt chart format. All right. So these are the tabs, and each of the tabs has commands or ribbons, which is used for the scheduling and for the tracking, the control, and all of that. Any question on what we have done so far? Is it clear for everyone? Ask questions
Steve,
before we move to the next. Yes.
Steve, I'm right, and you are Stephen.
Yes.
Okay. From so far, what I'm seeing is that this is just related to predictive waterfall, not agile projects. Is it right?
So we are looking at an approach that. So let me clarify this. Microsoft projects and Primavera are best suited for predictive projects. All right, they are best suited for predictive projects, but some people even use it for maybe adaptive projects. But if you really want a software that is best suited for adaptive projects, agile projects, then we can be talking about Slack, Jira, ClickUps, Trello, and the others, Monday.com and the others. But those ones are I mean, subscription based. Okay? You don't have a standalone. You cannot use it without internet. All right. So if you understand Microsoft projects, you can easily learn those ones, even without having to pay someone to teach you. I have links, I can share them with you. You just have to subscribe and then you can learn it. Now, I know friends who use this to manage IT projects. In fact, there's IT project, center project I was involved with. I use this and Primavera to manage that. So we are not really going into predictive and adaptive concepts, so to speak. We are trying to understand the software and how we can adapt its usage to the project that we have to execute. And once you understand it and you have a project, then you look at the nature of the project and see how best you can adapt the tool to schedule, manage, track, report, and control your project. I don't know if I'll be able to answer you.
Yes, please. I think you are very clear in your presentation. I would like to plead for you to sort of slow down a little.
Okay.
For clarity is very clear in explanation, but it's like the speed.
The speed is too high.
Yeah.
I'm on the motorway. Don't worry. I will slow down.
Okay.
Any other question, suggestion? Benjamin, Luis, Emmanuel, Romy.
I'm good.
I'm also good. I'm following you.
Okay. So we now have the interface. Right now, when you come here, you know that this is the tax form. This is a Gantt chart format. You can change the view of your Gantt chart. You can change the look of your non-working. The rest will come there. You come to the rest, don't worry. And you can make those changes. You also know that you can change your time scale. You can show or hide your timeline. You can navigate the pages by right-clicking on the side and viewing more, right? You can switch, okay, the view using these shortcuts, right? So this is the starting point. And then you know that these are ribbons, they are grouped, okay, under tabs, or some will call it menu, right? Now, the last of it is what we call the quick action toolbar. Okay, quick action toolbar. So this is where you get you get to put some buttons here which are not under any tab or any menu. These ones, if you want this, you have to come to tax before you can access it. But if I want to undo, redo, save, and all of that, I can get them right here. And we will look at how we can create this quick action toolbars. And we can also look at how we can create our own tabs. Maybe after years of working, there are particular commands that you use frequently. Command for scheduling, command for tracking, command for reporting, okay, and so on. You can create your own tab with your name and put those commands under it. So you have it here. So those become, so once you come here, everything you have here is everything you will use frequently from the day that you start entering the tax to the day that you generate reports. You have everything here for you. So you don't have to be switching between tabs, looking for one thing or the other. You keep everything under one tab. We will learn how to create that. Now, let's move on to the next thing, backend configuration. Let's configure the backend the way we want it. We don't want to work with the defaults. Okay, the defaults. So to begin the backend configuration, we come to the File tab. You click on the File tab. I didn't tell you that you can also access a lot of things here. So you come to the Gantt charts, you click on the Gantt charts. Okay, you can access most of the things that you can access by right-clicking here. You can get them here. But this one, I will urge you to be careful, because depending on the tab that you click, now we are on the tax tab, so you get more of this. But if you are the project tab, you may not get it. If you are the resource tab, okay, you may not, okay, some of these things may change, all right, depending on the tab that you are, all right? So you have to pay attention to that. Sub-projects here, and then comparing projects, we will look at all of that. All right, so let's go to the File tab. Then let's go straight to the bottom. Options. We click on Options. The project option window opens for us. There is another way to get this window. The another way of getting it is to come to the Gantt chart format tab. Right-click on it. Once you right-click on it, you have an option to hide quick access toolbar. Say quick action, quick access toolbar. This is the quick access toolbar. To hide it, to collapse the ribbon, you can collapse the ribbon. So the ribbon is collapsed. So you can only see a ribbon once you click on the tax or the tab. All right. You can only see once you click on that. When you go off that, it goes off. Let's right click it and let's show the ribbon. So if you want more space, right, you are working, you want more space, okay, you can hide some of these things, okay, so that you can get more space. You right click on it, you can hide the quick access toolbar. You right click to show it. Let's right click and then customize ribbon. That also brings you to the project option window. So if it is too long a thing for you to go to file, to come to option, then what you will do is that just right click here, customize ribbon. But that one brings you to the middle. So you can start from the general and then you can do the editing that you want. So again, file, option, project option window, or right click, click on customize ribbon, then it brings you here. But when it comes, this is the view you will see. So let's start from general. Let's start from general. We are trying to configure the backend to suit us before we start scheduling. We don't want the default configuration. So the first is what we call the general. And the general, the user interface option, we say show screen tip. You realize that anytime I put my mouse on something, I get a description of that thing. Let's see. So I come to task tab. I put my mouse here. It tells me outdent the task, and it gives me an information. That is what we call screen tips. I see this because that is how it has been configured. Show screen tips or show feature description on screen tips. You can choose to turn it off, don't show. All right. As a beginner, it will be helpful to turn this on so that if you are not clear about something, at least it will give you some prompts. Then project view. This is the default view. The default view is Gantt chart with timeline. This is the view that we are seeing. You can choose to turn it off or change it. Once you change it and you close the software, anytime you open it, what you chose as your default view is what you will see. Date formats. There are several formats you can choose from. So once you are entering your schedule or you are entering your tasks, in this example, you realize that my date format is a day, all right? The day, the month, okay? The day as in the Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is. The month, the day, and the year. That is what is showing here. That is my date format. You can change yours and do it whatever you want. All right. Then you can personalize your copy of Microsoft Project. So your username, your initials, and use these values regardless of the sign. And then let's look at the Office background. The Office background, mine is stars. You can use calligraphy, circuits, and clouds, and all of that. Right. So let's see calligraphy and look here. So if I choose calligraphy, hopefully something changes. And then the Office theme, mine is colorful. Let me choose dark gray and see what will happen here. It changes. So again, if you receive a schedule from someone and his is not like yours, this is what he did. These are not too important a thing, but they are all part of the formatting, right? So I will go with stars. I click OK. I don't really see any stars, but that is how, or that is what it is. All right, and then I'll go colorful, because I like colorful stuff. That's it. All right, so this is about the option or the general view or the general tab. Whatever you want to do here, you can do that. Show the start screen when the application starts. I mean, you can click on click, depends on you. Now let's look at display. When it comes to display, it's divided into calendar, currency options, and show indicator options, and show these elements. So let's look at the calendar. There are 3 calendar types. You have the Gregorian calendar, the Hijri calendar, the Thai Buddhist calendar. Okay, one will tell you. The Gregorian calendar. James, what is the Gregorian calendar? Are you familiar with the Gregorian calendar?
No, Steve.
Who knows about the Gregorian calendar?
I think that's the normal calendar we are using.
Yes. So the normal calendar, the Roman calendar that we are using, which has Monday to Sunday to Saturday or so, or Monday to Sunday or so, that's the Gregorian calendar. So those of us in Ghana and countries where we use this Roman calendar, if you are scheduling a project, you use the Gregorian calendar. Then we have the Hijri calendar. The Hijri calendar is the Muslim calendar. So if you happen to be working somewhere in a Muslim country where they use, you may have to use the Hijri calendar. Then we have the Thai Buddhist calendar. That's for those in those other Asian countries. Okay, if you're handling projects in those countries, then you use the Thai Buddhist calendar. So we will use the Gregorian calendar. That's what we will use. That's what we will use. So the Gregorian calendar. Then the next is the currency option. The default is dollar. All right. Of course, Americans, the software was developed by Americans. So what do you expect? So they put the dollar there as the default. But maybe your project, you may not be using dollar as a currency. So whatever currency you are using, you have to change it to that. So we are using cedis. So you are going to change the currency type to cedis. So when you come here, then you look for Ghana cedis, GH. Okay, GH. So GHS. Do we have GHS here? Yes, we should. Yes.
Steve is up there. Yeah.
So Ghana cedis. Now, once it comes, the sign has come, then the placement, especially in your financial reporting, on your reporting, how do you want the placement to be? So you have to choose. We have the Ghana cedis, no gap, then the figure comes, the figure before the sign, okay, no gap, and then we have the cedi plus gap before the amount, or the amount plus space before the sign. So you decide how you want the placement to be. And then How many decimal places? Of course, it is 0 to 2. So we leave it at 2 decimal places. Or if you don't want any decimal places, it will give you the exact amount, no point anything. All right, so that's about the currency aspects. As someone sent me a schedule, and then the project was in CDs, but the amount was in dollars, and he has written a note. When you see dollar is CD, and I was laughing. But these are things that this knowledge makes it easy for you to do. Then indicator, so resource assignment, check it, edit to start and finish dates. Check it, edit to work, unit and duration, check it, and then deletions of deletions in the name column, check all these boxes. All right. If you uncheck it in the course of your projects, you can come back and check it again and see the changes that you get. Show these elements, okay? Entry bar, online status, next to name, all right? Entry bar. So let's uncheck it. Let's see if something will happen here. So keep an eye here. Let me uncheck this. And then let me click OK. What did you see? Your entry bar, okay, is gone. All right. So these are ways you can also learn. You can see other things, right? And manipulate and play around it. Address bar or entry bar. Is it clear to this point? The next is schedule. Schedule. So for our project, when does work start, or when does our work week start? So our week starts, it may be Sunday, it may be Tuesday, Monday, whatever. So let's say our week starts on Monday. Our fiscal year starts when? Okay. Every company have their fiscal year, I mean, the month that their fiscal year begins. So for us, our fiscal year begins in February. Some organizations March, some May, June, some January. So let's say the fiscal year starts in January. Now let's look at the default start time, the default end time. When does work start? When does work end? This, we will change it when we come to the calendar, right? So if your default start time is not 8, you can indicate when your work starts. And then you can indicate when your work ends. And then the number of work. So if you start at 8 and you close at 5, your hours per day is 8 hours. Why is it 8 hours? Because 8 to 5 is more than 8 hours. So who can say why it is 8 hours?
There's break along the line.
Right. So there is always a break. So normally 8 to 12, then 12 to 1 is break, and then 2 to 5. So you get 8 hours a day, and then 40 hours per week, and maybe 20 days, or sometimes 21 or 22 days per month. Right. This, we can configure it, we can change it, we can adapt it, okay, when we come to the calendar creation. Right. So note this one. Now let's also come to schedule. Show scheduling messages. Right. So you take it. So whilst you are working and there are issues with your schedule, there are conflicts, it will show you. Now, show assignment units as what? As a decimal or as percentage. The assignment unit we are talking here is resources, right? Resources. So when we come to resource sheets, once you enter your resources, the units, is it going to be in decimal or is it going to be in percentage? So let's go to the resource sheet. Let's demonstrate it quickly. So I want to go to the resource sheet. So this is where we are. I click OK. and I'll navigate to the resource sheet. This is the resource sheet. When you come to the resource sheet, just as we had for this indicators for information, we have the resource name, the resource type, material, initial, and so on and so forth. So let's say the resource name, let's put the civil engineer. Civil engineer is a human resource. In Microsoft projects, there are three main resource types. We have what we call work resource. We have work resource. We have material resource. And then we have cost resource. Work, material, and cost. Work resources are resources that work with time or whose work unit is per time. So maybe, what is the name? 200 cedis per hour or 50 cedis per hour. And which people work that? Human beings and equipment work with time. So any human resource or equipment resource are referred to as work resource when it comes to Microsoft projects. So you need to define the resource type. So anytime you enter any resource that is human or machine or equipment, the type is work. If it is material, it is material. And then cost resource are one-time cost events. So you subcontracted a job to someone and the person charged you maybe 20,000 for the work. It's called cost. Okay, so for example, maybe you are working on a project and someone is coming to lay at farting or someone is coming to do a particular thing and you are not the one managing it direct. You are outsourcing it. That particular aspect, we treat it as cost. So when it gets to that particular activity, you assign the cost. We will look at that when we come to cost. So I wanted to explain maximum units here. So I have an engineer. The type is work resource. The initial is C, so it takes the initial. Group, we haven't given it any group yet. The maximum unit is 1. We can expand this a little bit so you can. One. This means I have one civil engineer available to work full time on the project, maximum units. Now let's go back to this and let's come to schedule and let's change the maximum units to percentage. Let's click OK. It changes to 100%. This means that I have one civil engineer available to work full time. I can change this to 50%. This means that I have one civil engineer available to work half of the time, half day. Or I can change this to 25%. One civil engineer available to work quarter of the time. So in a day of 8 hours, maybe that person will work 2 hours or 2.5 hours, something like that. This is what we call maximum unit. You can choose to put it in percentage or put it in decimal. All right, that is what that means. percentage or in decimal. So you decide, but that is the interpretation. Now, if I have 200 here or 300 here, this means that I have 3 civil engineers. They are available to work full-time each. This is the interpretation. If it is decimal, it will show 3. It means I have 3 civil engineers, each of them working full-time, 8 hours a day. They are available full-time. When assigned, anytime you assign them, they are working full-time. If it is half, it means anytime you assign them, they are working half of the time. So you may have this, and maybe you've done it 50%. It means this civil engineer, anytime you assign him to an activity, he is working half of the time. So if the duration of the particular activity is 8 hours, because this resource is working half of the time, it will take 2 calendar days. So when you are determining the maximum unit, you should be careful about it. When we come to resource sheets, when we are populating this, I will stress on this again, and we will demonstrate that for you to see. So this is okay at this point. Now let's look at tax, scheduling option for this project. When we want to create a new tax, is it going to be what? Auto schedule or manual schedule? So we can shift or change it here as well. So any new tax we are going to create will be auto scheduled. Now we are going to start creating tax. When do you want the tax to start scheduling? Do you want the tax to start scheduling from today? If we start today, do you want the tax to start scheduling from today? Or you want the tax to start scheduling from the start date? We may be planning a project today, but we are not starting the work today. All right, maybe we may be starting the work in 2 weeks' time, but we are planning today. So normally we will say that schedule from the project start date. These two are important concepts I want you to understand: duration and work. And I explained this when we were doing Microsoft project. One is called effort. When we were doing the PMP, I explained this. Rami, explain, what's the difference between work and duration? Work is the same as effort. Do we have Rami here?
Yes, I'm trying to recall.
This time, if I ask you, you don't answer. You are buying beer. I'm sure I'll get people to drink it on this platform. You buy a crate of beer. Oh, we have a pastor here. Oh, James, are you a pastor?
I'm an elder. I'm not a pastor, but I don't take alcohol anyway.
Elders don't drink beer. But I know I'll have people here who drink it. Yeah.
Okay.
Louis, what's the difference between effort and work? I mean, effort is the same as work. How is it different from duration? So we can use that to explain these aspects. Okay, Ellie.
So, in my opinion, I think work has to be the task that is supposed to perform, the job to be done. then the duration has to be with the time allocated to that particular work element, that or the time frame in which that work will be done or that effort will be performed. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Benjamin.
Okay, so just as Ellie Klim explained, so the efforts, like he said, has to do with the actual activity that is executed on the project, and then the duration has to do with the timeline assigned to that very project, that very activity.
Okay. Thank you for your efforts. So I have an activity. Let's call it activity A. I will say that this activity will take 1 day to be done. How many hours do we have in a day?
24.
8 hours.
24 hours makes
Yeah.
1 day.
No active time. Okay.
But are we going to work 24 hours on this activity?
No.
But it could be yes. It is possible that we will spend 24 hours continuous. It could also be possible that we won't spend 24 hours continuous. It depends on the calendar that we define for the project. And in most cases, and as you will see shortly before we close today, we are going to create a calendar. And even here in a schedule, we said that we work how many hours a day? We work 8 hours a day. That means that in a day, the hours we commit to working on an activity is 8 hours. That is the effort or work, 8 hours. So when we say work, we refer to the amount of hours a team commits to performing some kind of effort or to carrying out some kind of activity or focusing on completing the task. So to differentiate between effort and duration, duration is the time period, including both period that we are working and period that we are not working. And then effort or work is the period or the hours that we are working. So in this case, 8 hours. So if I tell you that this work will take 1 day, sometimes you need to inquire further to find out how many hours within this 1 day am I working. It could be 8 hours, it could be 4 hours, it could be 6 hours, it could be 12 hours. That is what we call work. And in this case, we call it hours. Sorry, what is it? We call it work. And we like to present the work in hours, even though we can also have it in days, week, and so on. We want to leave it in hours so that we will know how many hours have been worked on this particular activity or on this project. And then the duration, we can leave it in days, in weeks, in months, and so on. So that's the difference between duration and work. So normally, it is convenient to leave the duration in days, even though we can also leave it in minutes, in hours, in days, weeks, and months. We prefer to leave it in days. All right, so we know that, oh, this work will take 5 days. If we know the calendar we are working with, and we know that we work 8 hours in a day, then we know that the total number of effort or work that will go into it will be 40 hours. All right, so the default is hours. You can change it into minutes, into days, into whatever. All right, but it is convenient to leave it in hours. Is it clear to this point? Any question? Am I still fast?
It's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But this explanation is sounds somewhat technical. So if you can just revisit it and just run through.
What this means is that you have to unlearn what you know and learn this new one, because we all know work has to do with just a task that you are carrying out. But realize that the explanation given is that work means the actual time that we spend on running out carrying on the activity. And the duration has to do with the actual time plus the extra one that you are not working. That's my understanding though.
Yes. So when we talk of work, work is entered in. So when we were looking at the training, we call something, what is the name? Romy, remind me. When we came to duration or estimation, we are saying that we call something elapsed time. Elapsed time. And the elapsed time is what we call duration. So when I ask you, oh, how long will this activity take? Oh, this work it is taking 2 days. We are doing it in 2 days. That is what we call elapsed time. These 2 days, you are not going to work 24 hours a day, so you are not going to work 48 hours on this particular activity. But by the time you say you are done, 48 hours may have elapsed. And within that 48 hours, you may have worked 16 hours. It means that every day you work 8 hours. Now, this is very important because in situations where you pay people to work per hour, then we want to know how much effort have gone into the completion of the work. So if you tell the person that, oh, you worked 1 day, and if I pay in hours, I want to know how many hours in a day did you work to complete the task. Okay, we worked 8 hours. That 8 hours is what we call work or effort. In project and in project management and in scheduling, we call it work or effort. 8 hours. 8 hours out of what? Out of 24 hours, which makes a day. So here, what you need to remember, or what I want you to know, or what I want you to understand is that we have duration, which comprises days we are working, or hours we are working, and hours we are not working. Days we are working and days we are not working. And within this duration, there are days or there are hours we are specifically working. So let's say 1 day, and the last explanation doing on this, because it's recorded, you can always refer to it. So day.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So like the scenario you were given. So if you have a situation where the actual the work or the effort will take us 24 hours, then the duration assigned to it 1 day. So in that situation, you can say that, or will be right to say that the duration and the effort of the work is the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it means that the duration is 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the work or effort will be 24 hours.
24 hours. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Right. But if your work period is 8 hours, it means the duration is 1 day, but the work or effort is 8 hours. It could be 4 hours. It could be 6 hours. It could be 12 hours or 16 hours. Just remember that work or effort is the amount of time you work or you perform an action to complete an activity. That is what we call work. Right. The next thing is this, another important aspect of this training. Romy, are you okay with work duration? James, are you okay with work and duration?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Right. Now, default task type. This is very important when we are assigning resources. When we are assigning resources, default task type. Now, the default task type, it can be fixed units, can be fixed duration, it can be fixed work. And I'm going to project something here for you right now so that we can use that to make it simple for you. So MSP, I want us to understand the basis. General. Thank you for your patience. I'm loading, right. Right. So let me quickly share it this way so that it becomes easy to navigate them. And do let me know if you don't have. Do you have the screen?
Yeah.
You have it,
Yes,
right?
please. Yes, please.
Okay. So we are at this point, default tax type. And we say we have fixed units, fixed duration, and fixed work. Let's understand what this fixed unit, fixed duration, and fixed work is. Do you have the Word documents on display?
Yes, Steve.
Right. So we say in Microsoft projects, every tax has a tax type that controls how changes to resources affect the schedule. The three tax types are fixed units, fixed duration, and fixed work. Now, when we talk of fixed, let's start with fixed units first. When we talk of fixed units, What are we talking about as unit? Unit means resources. So it means that the resource is fixed. All right? So when we say fixed units, that means that what stays constant is the resource. I have one resource, maybe one engineer available to work one full-time, that's 100%. So if a resource is assigned at 100%, it stays at 100%. So I have Romy, civil engineer, on this project. Romy is fixed. Romy will not change. Or I can add up to him. So resource is fixed. Changing work or duration forces MS Project to recalculate other value. So there are three metrics here. Let's look at these three metrics. We have work, we have duration, we have resource. Sorry, unit or resource. Now, if an activity will take 2 days, that is duration, right? 2 days means it's duration. It will take 2 days because I have one resource, one unit. Only Romy, one unit. It's taking 2 days. The 2 days is what? Is work, isn't it? So if you are working 8 hours, then the work will be what?
16 hours.
16 hours. Now, if the work changes to say 32 hours, all right, if the work changes to 32 hours, ideally, one of these metrics must change. One person can work 8 hours a day. So if the work will take 2 days, then that one person will take 2 days. Or one person can work 8 hours a day. So if I have work to be 16 hours, then that one person will take 2 days. Now, if the work increases to 32 hours, and I cannot increase the resource because the unit is fixed, then the duration must increase to 4 days. That is what fixed unit means. That is what this means. So if your default task type is in fixed units, then it means that whatever resource you have assigned to that activity will not change. It's fixed. So if it is 2 engineers is fixed. If the original duration is 2 days, then it means that the work is 16 hours. If the work is 16 hours and the person is working 8 hours, that means the duration is 2 days. If for some reason you increase the work from 16 hours to 32 hours, with fixed units being, the default task type, Microsoft Project will look at the 32 hours and say, hey, there's more work to be done, but I have only one resource. Then it means that duration might increase. Microsoft Project will not say that, oh, there's more work to be done, so then I need to increase the resource, all right, from 1 to 2, so that we can finish it in 2 days. No, because you said it is fixed unit. So resources are fixed. If work increases, duration will increase. If duration increases, work will increase. If work reduces, duration will reduce. So if work reduces from 16 to 8 hours, duration will change from 2 days to 1 day. Fixed unit. Is it clear?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Who has a difficulty with this? Great. So that's about fixed unit. So the example here is that tax duration is 5 days. Engineer assigned 100%. 100% means how many engineers?
One.
One engineer working full time.
Yeah.
So the work will be what? 40 hours.
8 times
Now,
5.
yes. So if you increase the work to 80 hours, Microsoft projects will increase the duration to 10 days. Because unit stays 100%, one person. Units cannot change. This is best used when you care about who is assigned and at what capacity. And this is typically used in most construction and IT tasks. Now let's look at fixed duration. If our tax type is fixed duration, what does it mean? So fixed duration means duration stays constant. The start and finish date do not change. Adding or removing resources changes units or work, not the duration. Now, let me say that before we come to duration, if you are using fixed units, you have to be very careful sometimes. If care is not taken, Microsoft project will be updating your duration unnecessarily. All right, it will be updating your durations unnecessarily. So you need to look at it very well. All right, when we come to assigning resources, we will demonstrate all of this practically for you to see. All right, so let's look at a fixed duration. So the tax duration is 5 days. It is fixed. This will not change. One engineer at 100% will work 40 hours. If I add another engineer to the one engineer, duration will still stay 5 days, but total work becomes 40 hours. Are you following? One engineer, we have duration 5 days, fixed. So it means if I have one person working full time, that means that this particular tax with one person is taking 40 hours for the 5 days. If I add another person, now we have 2 people. It means that second person will also work what? 40 hours. So it means that the 5 days is equivalent to 80 hours because we have 2 engineers, each working full-time 8 hours a day. So the duration is still fixed, 5 days, but the total hours that has gone into completing the work is 80 hours, with each person working 40 hours. Are you following? Is it clear? So fixed duration. This is when you choose fixed duration, that is what it means. Now let's look at the last one. This is best used when task is time-bound, waiting periods, curing time, inspections, approval, and all of that, are necessary. Okay. Events with fixed dates, example, training, shutdowns, and all of that. All of these are basis of that. I'll share this with you. A refined notes with you for you to read on that. And then let's look at the last one, fixed work. Who can tell me what fixed work will mean? What is staying constant and what can change? Benjamin. Ellie.
Please pass.
Right, so when we talk of fixed work, what stays constant is the total work, the effort hours. So MS project will keep total effort the same. So adding resources will shorten the duration. Right, adding resources will shorten the duration. And this must also be used with caution. Removing resources will lengthen the duration. So work is 40 hours, fixed. Okay, 40 hours, fixed. If the hours per day is 8 hours, that means one engineer will work 5 days. Now, if I add a second engineer, work will still stay 40 hours. So what will happen? It means then that the two people will share the 40 hours and each will work half. So the duration will reduce to 2.5 days. All right, the duration will reduce to 2.5 days. So me alone, one person working 40 hours on a project. If the person is working 8 hours a day, it means this work will take 5 days. The 40 hours is fixed, so we call it fixed work. This work should take 40 hours, whether it's one person, 2 people, whatever it is 40 hours fixed. So one person will take 5 days. If we are lucky to have 2 people, then it means that this work is still 40 hours, but it will take 2.5 days. Now, I always say that we should be careful when we are using this one too, fixed work. Because if you are not careful and you are using fixed work, you may add maybe 2 resources to an activity, but you don't intend for the duration to reduce before you realize your duration has reduced. And it may give you a false positive or an over-ambitious schedule. So as you are adding, you realize that your duration is reducing to 1.85. Your duration is reducing to maybe 6 points. It's something. You said it should take 5 days, but before you realize you are getting decimal points because you're using fixed work. So anytime you add any resource, it will shorten the duration. So if you don't want trouble and you want to keep your duration fixed and have control over it, they make it fixed duration or fixed unit. But if you make it fixed work, before you assign the resources, any changes you make to resources, even if you add maybe there was one shovel, and then you add another pickers, it will change the duration. you assume that you are adding more resources and that should affect the duration of the project. It should shorten the work efforts. All right, so these are the explanations for the tax type: fixed work, fixed units, and fixed duration. I believe I have been able to explain this well for you to understand. Any question? Any question? Is it clear? Right, so these other ones, you click, you can check them all. As we proceed, we'll be looking at some of them. You can also spend time to look at some of them. But what I want to talk about here is this one, calculations. And I showed you previously that when you go to project tab, right, when you come to project tab, you come to calculate project, okay? If you have not checked the calculation bits or you've not put it on, anytime you edit your project, you have to come and click this to calculate before the project will be updated. But if you put it to on, okay, you come to schedule, and then you check it, put it here, on. Means calculate project after each edit. The project will be updated by itself. So to be on the safer side, always keep it on. Then let's look at here, default fixed cost accrual. How do you want your cost to be calculated? We have at start, prorated, and at end. At start means that every resource that you assign to a project is coming at a cost. So let's say that I need an excavator. Excavator to work, and it is 5,000 a day. And I need it for 5 days, so 25,000 cedis. If I'm to select the default fixed cost accrual to start, right, start, if I should put it at start, what it means is that the moment I assign the excavator to an activity and the activity is marked at start, Microsoft Project will consider this cost to be incurred or to have been incurred. It means the cost has been incurred. Even though the work is not complete, it will take it as though you have spent 25,000. The moment the work is marked at start, you have incurred it. So when you use this, normally when I use this, sometimes I forget myself and it confuses me a lot because you start a number of activities and then at the end of the week, you are writing your reports and you see it as though you spent so much money than you have actually spent. Because all the tasks that you have started, every cost element will be calculated in full as though you have incurred them in full, even though you have not. That is at start. And if you put it at end, you go through the whole project, the whole week. When you are reporting on your finances and your costs, you don't see much to have been spent. It's as if you haven't spent anything. Meanwhile, you are spending because it is waiting for you to mark the tax as complete before it will calculate the cost of the tax. And then if you put it at prorated, which is the best, at least for me, as you go, you spend. So if I have done 2 days out of the 5 days, it will calculate 2 times 5,000. That will be 10,000. So I'll know how much I have spent as the work progresses, prorated. All right, so this is how this works. Is it clear? Now let's come to proofing. Proofing, there is nothing serious here, right? So we won't do much here. And then save, we all know save. All right, so save file as what? You leave it in Microsoft Projects, all right? You can save it as that, and then you can choose a location where you want to save it. And then autosave. So, I mean, you can set it to autosave, so it will save every 5 minutes so that you don't have to be saving it manually, all right? So you can choose how often your work should be saved. Every minute, every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes. All right, so that is autosave. And then save all open projects, save active projects only, and so on. Prompt before saving. All right, you do need a prompt. I don't need a prompt. If you need, you do that. And then you check any of these stuff. And these are the cakes and all that. You can clear them as you. So this, we don't have much to do here. Now, sometimes you can also save your configuration. You can do all of what we have done, and you can save it as a template. If you save it as a template, it means that anytime you are starting a new project, you don't have to go through all that we are going through. You just copy the template and use it. All right, so you can save it as a template. So then you don't have to go back, reconfigure, and do change calendar, create calendar, create exceptions, and all of that. You don't need that. So you can save it as a template. And if you are not sure who you are sending the work to, maybe the person is using an older version of Microsoft project. If you send yours, which is maybe the newer version to him, say 2021 or 2026 or 2025 version, and the person is using the older version, 2010 and all of that, the person might not be able to open it, or it may not come well. So in that case, save your work in the older version, for example, 2017 version, so that if the person is using the older version, the person can open it. So if you are not sure, what we mean is, if you are not sure what version the person is using, save your work in the lower version so that whoever receives it can be able to open it. If you are sure, then you can save it. This is your version. Okay, you save it in your version or the newer, the higher version. So this is how you can save your project. You can save a template, okay, and so on and so forth. Now let's come to language. We won't do anything here. Let's come to advanced. Advanced. How many times do you want to be able to undo? If you make a mistake, you want to go back. How many times can you go back? So this is 20 times. You can reduce it, you can increase it so that you can undo up to 5 times, up to 10 times, up to 20 times. Okay, prompt for project info for new projects. Okay, and add-on and all that. Project web, all right? This is, I mean, we won't do much here. And then automatically add new resources and tags. So this is the standard resource rate. When you come to the resource sheets, thankfully we are here. Let me wipe this. When you come to the resource sheets, okay, the standard rate for new resources. What is the standard rate? Do you pay per hour? Do you pay per day? All right, so if you pay per hour, that is it here. If you pay per day, you just have to put it per day, D. So any other thing you do, once you enter anything here, IT consultants, it will change it today. All right. Now let's look at the overtime. The same thing, so advance. The overtime. Overtime, maybe we pay per hour. So you leave it per hour. All right, so this is how you change this metric. All right, and then the rest, I don't think there is much to do here. Show this number of recent projects. So how many recent projects will you see when you click on File? So as soon as you click on File, it will display a number of projects that you have done in the past. How many of them should be displayed for you? Okay, so that is the default is 20. Now, the next thing I want us to look at, quick access, this number of recent, you can click this, it doesn't change anything, you can play on that. Let's look at display options for this project. Minutes is represented MIN, hours, days, you can change it to M, N, and minutes, right? That means that when you use small m, MIN, and so on, it represents minutes. Hours is also abbreviated as this, and then day is either D, DY, or DA. All right, so this is how we have chosen to represent, okay, our information. So you see them in minutes, okay, in hours, like you are seeing here, okay, in days, like you are seeing here. If we change it to HM and DY, that's what you see here. So you decide how you want it. And then weeks, WK, it can be WK, or weeks. And then months, it can be MO, MON, and months. Year, it can be YR, and year. All right, so this is the display. This is how we have chosen to display these metrics or parameters. So that's how you see it. If someone sends you a schedule and you are seeing a different, units, this is where you can change it. And then end value. When we talk of end value is a technique that is used to measure project performance. And we did that in our training, and we will see it again here. And you see how easy it is. Now, the default tax end value method. So we are what we call percent complete and physical percent complete. And in fact, we have work percent complete. I will explain all of these. So we will come back later because we haven't entered anything here for me to be able to use that to demonstrate. So let's leave the end value method to percent complete. I will explain that as we go along. The end value calculation will be based on the baseline. So once we set the baseline will be there. All right, so that's about it. Now we are saying that critical pathway, path. We say a tax is critical if the slack or the float is less than or equal to 0. This is how we are defining our critical path. All right. You see, a tax is critical if the float, also called slack, is less than or equal to 0. So once we schedule and we find that any activity that has a 0 float, that activity will be marked as a critical activity. So once you are filtering critical activity, every activity with a 0 float will show as a critical activity. All right. You can also mark to be shown multiple critical paths. All right. You can decide that, okay, show me. If I have more than one critical path, show me. So it will show you multiple critical paths. All right. Let's leave this other one. So, move end of completed path after status dates back to the status dates. I will explain this as we go along. So let's leave it. When we start and we are updating the project, we'll come here and then I'll use this to demonstrate it to you. Right, so that's about this. Let's take a break. I'm giving you 15-minute break. When you come, we will look at customizing ribbon and this one, and then we will go to creating a calendar, assigning the calendar to our projects. And then we will look at how to populate the table, and then we will wrap up for today so you can go and continue revising it. So use the 15 minutes to go over all that we have done. We are back at 150, 140, 50.
You mean 12?
Pardon?
You mean 12 something?
Yeah, we'll be back at 12:55 or something, or 12:50 or something. Yeah, so let's say 12:55. So yes,
Okay.
something like that. So we've looked at all of this. Edits to total tax percent complete will be spread to the status date and all that. So this one, let's leave it as it is. We'll come back to it, like I said. The next thing is ribbons, customized ribbon. Now, when you look at this ribbon, these are the main tabs. So the main tabs are tax, resource, reports, project, view, add-ons, developer help, and so on. This is what we are seeing here. All right, the main tabs. All right, these are the tabs we are seeing here. We can create our own tabs. So for each of them, when you click here, you see it opens. It opens for you to see the groups. So when you click the arrow down, you see the groups. So when you take the tax tab, you have the view group, clipboard, font, schedule, tax, insert, properties, editing. When you come here, you click on the tax tab, you will see the same thing here. When you come to resource and you open it up, you see view, assignment, insert resource, and so on. You could see that for all the rest. All right, this is what we call tabs. Some people will say menu. All right, and these are the ribbons. These are the commands. All the commands that are grouped under the tabs are what we have here. Okay, all the commands are what we have here. Now we can create our own tab. So for example, we work and the kind of project we do, we use particular types of commands. Okay, often, we use it often. So we want to create our own commands. Right, you can open it, just like I'm doing. You see all the what do you call it? The commands, the ribbons under each of them on the left, on the right. So take your time and play with it, get to it, but make sure you don't delete anything. Don't go and delete anything. All right. So you go, you look at it, you review it, all right, and then you check. So everything here, you cannot even delete. You can't move them around. All right. So these are the ribbons under the various groups that has been expanded. So when you take the schedule group, these are the ribbons. All right, up to this point. All right. And then you take the tax group. When you open it, these are the ribbons. And then you take inspect, you get to see. So you can open it up to see all the ribbons within the groups. All right. You can open it to see all the ribbons within the group. Right. So these are the main ribbons. So you can create your own ribbon. You can always create your own ribbon. You can create your own tab. So this is how most people do it. On my work PC, I have my own ribbon. All right, because I carry it along, and wherever I'm going, I'll go with it. So I have my own ribbon on that. This is how we do it. So you come here, you see new tab. Okay, you click on new tab. Once you click on new tab, you get a new tab, custom, and then you are given one group under the tab. Okay, new tab, one group. Now with this, you can move it around. You can move it around. Okay, wherever you want to put it, you can put it. So let's say I want to put it after the tax tab. I want to put it after the tax tab. I want to put it between the tax tab and then the resource tab. So what I'll do is that as I have selected it, I'll use the top and down arrow to move it up to fall between the tax tab and then the resource tab. I want to label it. I want to rename it. So I click on it and then I rename it. Then I'll give it Project Arena Consulting Services, PACS. Give it the name. Then this is a group, the first group. I want to rename the first group. So I'll name the first group maybe schedule ribbons. So I'll say schedule ribbon. So I'll put all the ribbons that I'll use for scheduling. I'll click OK. I want small group. So I'll click on new group. And then I will rename it. And I will call it tracking ribbon or ribbons. Ribbons. So O ribbons. Then I'll create another group. And then I'll give it a name. Let's say reporting. Let's say reporting. Reporting. You can give it any of these signs. Okay, symbols, all right, reporting. So I'm going to see another tab between tax and resource. Once I click on that tab, I will see these ribbons. But if I don't put anything into any of this group, if I don't put any ribbon into any of this group, I'll not see it. So let me click on this. Okay, I click on this schedule ribbon, and then let me look for anything and put it under that. What can I put under that? Let me say level. So I click on level and then I add. When I add, it will come another schedule ribbon. And then move tax, then I'll add. Let me come to tracking. I just put anything under it. So let me put information. Percent complete. Let's just put anything. Inspect. And then let me come to reporting. Status date. let me just put something. Once you are done, you click OK. Once you click OK, you have Packs tab, you have Schedule ribbon, Tracking ribbon, Reporting, and it will show the ribbons that you put in there will show. Right, so that is how we create ribbons. That is how we create ribbons, and a customized ribbon. So when you click this arrow down, you have choose commands from popular commands. You can show all commands. When you show all commands, all the commands will appear here so that you can customize your ribbon. All the commands, okay, will show here. All right, so that you can pick. But when you put popular commands, it gives you a limit. It limits you to the ones that are frequently used and popularly used, depending on how often you use the tool, right? Or what most people will normally use. But if you want all of them, you come to all commands. And this one gives you everything, okay, including what is already in these tabs. So then once you create your tab, you create your groups, then you can go through them and then pick what you want to show or what you want to put under your various groups. All right, so this is how to approach creating your own tab. Again, let me go through it again. You have to select one of these and then you create new tab. The new tab will give you the main name. And once that new tab comes, it comes with one of the groups. So you get a new tab, and then the new tab comes with a group, one of the groups. Subsequently, you can add more groups. And then you select the new tags, and then you click on rename to rename it. Then you click OK. Then you come to the group, you rename, you click OK. If you want more groups, you click on the group, you add more groups, and then you rename them. Once you want to put a command under a group, select that command, and then come to the left, and then pick whatever command or ribbon you want to put into that group. Then you click on it, then you add. If you want to take out, you come here, you click on it. I want to take out something. So I come to packs, I open it, I open one of the group, level all, I remove. It's gone. If I want to add, I click on it, I add. This is how we do it. When you are done, you click OK, and then you are done. If you want to delete, you select the tab you want to delete.
Steve,
And yes.
What informed the choice of a command into the group?
Into the
group that you have created. You know, if you create a group, you say you go and pick a command and put it whatever you want to choose. So I'm saying that what informed that decision?
I'm not sure I get your question clearly. Can you clarify?
You have created new tab.
Yes.
And we have groups.
Yes.
So you are saying that when you use the commands, all the commands, if
choose all the commands. You get any of the commands that you want inside.
Yes.
And you are saying that you can pick along the line. You can pick one command and then add it to the distance.
So let's say
uh-huh.
let's say this group, this is a tab.
Yes.
Let's name the tab James.
Yeah.
This is James. This is your tab.
Mm-hmm.
Now, each tab, as you saw, is a menu. A menu has a list of, let's say you went to a restaurant, you are given a menu. That menu has a list of what? Edibles, food, and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, in some restaurants, you see the food is categorized. So maybe you have seafoods, you have maybe rice dishes, you have maybe other local dishes, you have drinks, even the drinks, we have carbonated, we have fresh juice. So you see that there is some categorization on the menu. It makes it easy for you to quickly look for what you want to take. As opposed to jamming everything together. If you know you want to eat rice, you can easily see, oh, this is the rice column. So this is the rice menu. On the main menu, rice. Then you go there. Okay, fried rice, that. That is easier than when everything is lumped together. All the rice food, all the fufu and local food, drinks and water and juices, everything lumped together. It means that you have to spend a lot of time to go through the entire list meticulously to find what you're looking for. So the grouping, okay, please go ahead.
I want you to, in the project context, will it be related to if it is scheduling, if it is resources, if it is cost, or what is that we can relate to the explanation you have given?
Yes, so the grouping, if you are creating a customized grouping,
yes,
you will decide how you want to do it. So maybe the first group will be commands that helps me to enter tax or tax entry commands, or commands that help me to assign resource, so resource assignment commands, commands that helps me to update my project, so project update commands, commands that helps me to report, so reporting commands. So then it helps you to know that if I'm filling this table or entering tax or filling resource sheet, I know where to go. So I click on it, then it takes me there. I don't know if maybe
great,
I'm not understanding.
Yeah, that's great. I picked it. Thank you.
Right, so that is why the grouping is. So you can have, say, for example, tax. So you right-click to rename, all right, or you can click on rename, and then you name it. You name it the way you want to group your commands or your ribbons, all right? So that is how it is. If you want to delete it, you right-click it, and then you remove, all right? So you remove it, then it goes. Right, so that is how it is done. You won't get the remove here, so you just have to right-click. Once you right-click it, then you remove. All right, so that is how it works here. Then you click OK, then you are there. All right, so this is what we have done. If I want to remove it, I can easily go here, customize ribbon, and then I'll remove packs from it. All right, I'll remove packs from it. Then I click OK, then it's gone. If I want to elaborate it, okay, I'll show the ribbon. Okay, now I'm showing my ribbon. You right-click, you can hide. Right-click, you can show, like I showed you. Now let's go to the quick access toolbar. This is what we are showing here on the quick access toolbar. Okay, what you see here, that is what is here. If you want to add any other thing to your quick access toolbar, you can do so. You just have to click on it and then you move it there. Then when you come, you will see it here. All right, the quick access toolbar. So this is the backend configuration and how to configure your layout, your views, so that you'll be able to add-ons Trust Center, this similar to all Microsoft products. All right, so this is there. So the most important thing is general, display, schedule, advanced. This is where you do your configuration, right? And then maybe a quick access toolbar, and then a customized ribbon. If you want to customize your ribbons, you can also do that here. If you want to rearrange your ribbon, you can also do that here. All right, so you will see some people report comes first plus others, or view comes first. Okay, you can do that. You just have to pick it and then you move it around. Okay, it's as simple as that. Any question? So with this out of the way, I'm going back to my Gantt chart. All right, so right now, what do I have here? I have the resource sheet. And normally, the view you have will show here. The view, okay, you have will show here. So you see resource sheet format. That is the view I have. When I right click here, resource sheet is what I'm seeing. So I'll see it here. All right, resource sheet. When I come here, at the corner here, it's an entry bar, okay, or the entry table. All right. And then here again, the Gantt chart, when I right click on it, resource sheet. So we want to go to the Gantt chart. So I'll either click this Gantt chart here, or I'll right click here and click on Gantt charts, or I'll come here and click on Gantt charts. Then it takes me to the Gantt chart view. And I'll see, you see here, Gantt chart format is showing here. So the view you have will show you here. So if you are not sure where you are, just watch here. You know what view, what layouts, okay, you are seeing. Or you can right click anywhere and then you see where it's ticked. That is where you are. I'll show you more of this later on. Now, the next thing we need to do is to set up our calendar. So we go to our project tab. Under the properties group, we'll click on change working time. Project tab, properties group, change working time. We get a window displayed. Then you see a calendar showing. The calendar that is showing is a standard calendar. And the standard calendar is the Gregorian standard calendar that we selected. We work 5 days in a week. Saturdays and Sundays, we don't work. On this standard calendar, work starts from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Then we take a break from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So we resume at 1 p.m. Then we close at what? 5 p.m. That is the standard working days per this calendar. So Monday is a working day per this calendar. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, all the way to Fridays. And this is the working time. Working times, right? Saturdays, Sundays are marked as non-working time. So if you are using the auto scheduling, once you schedule an activity, it will jump Saturdays and Sundays. Now with this standard calendar, there are two types. We have the night shifts, we have the 24 hours, and then we have the standard. So this is the standard of the Gregorian calendar. We have the 9 shifts of the Gregorian calendar. We have the 24 hours of the Gregorian calendar. So the standard calendar, we have what? Monday to Friday as working days, Saturday and Sunday, no work. Let's look at the 9 shifts and look at the changes that you will see on the calendar. When we take the 9 shift calendar, this is how it works. Saturdays become part of the working days. Let's look at Friday, okay? See the working hours for Friday. It means that work starts from, say for example, Thursday work, the normal Thursday work for 9 shift, for shift, right? For shift. You start at 11 p.m. on Thursday to 12 a.m. on Friday. Then 12 a.m., which is the beginning of the Friday, to 3 a.m. Then you take a break. Then you come at 4 a.m. Then you close at 8 a.m. So this 8 a.m. goes into the Friday. And then the person will take it from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and maybe 12 to another time, and so on and so forth. So once you go to work on Friday, you'll finish on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. That's when you close. This is the 9 shift calendar. So if your project work on a shift system, then this will be the calendar type you want to use. Then, of course, we have the 24 hours. For 24 hours, we are working 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. We are working around the clock. So you use the 24-hour calendar. So even with the Gregorian calendar, there are 3 types. We have the standard, we have the 9 shifts, we have the 24-hour calendar. Now, for this training, we are going to use the standard calendar, and we are going to create our own calendar and then customize it. And we are going to create a copy of the standard calendar and then customize it. And this is the legend. So anything with this background, non-working, as you are seeing. Okay, anything with this background means working. When we edit working hours, it will show you like this. If you make exceptions, it will show like this. And then non-default work week will show like this. I'll show you all of that. Now, when we say exception, what comes to mind? What is an exception? Exception is, so let me hear from you. Exception means what? In your view, when you say we are making an exception, what does it mean?
So literally, Monday is a working day by default. But then, if we want to change it, it becomes an exception, a particular Monday.
Right. 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 So that's exception. Or Saturday is a non-working day, but we are working on a particular Saturday, so we are making exceptions for that. So that's exceptions. Now, exceptions are temporal, right? Maybe a temporal situation. We work all Mondays except one particular Monday that we are not working, so that becomes an exception to the rule. We are not working every Saturday except one particular Saturday, or the Saturdays of a particular month, we make exceptions. So this is where we make those exceptions. But if you want to make a permanent change to the calendar to say that for the entire project, we are working on Saturday. For the entire project, we are not working on a Monday. Then you make those changes here. It's easier to make those changes here. Work weeks. And we will look at that. We will make those changes. So we are going to create a calendar for our projects. So we come here, create a new calendar. You click on it. Do you want to create a new base calendar, or you want to make a copy of the existing calendar? And the existing calendars can be 24 hours, 9 shift, or standard. See, this has already been done. The basis is there. The background is there. The configuration is there. You just want to copy it and update it or change it. It is easier that way than to create a new base calendar. So always, for easier purposes, unless you want to explore and you have time in your hands to work, then you can create a base calendar. Otherwise, create a standard calendar. Make a copy of the standard calendar and give the calendar a name. So this will give it MS Project July 2026. I'm gonna click OK. MS Project July 2026. The calendar has been created. When you come here, you see these other calendars here. You select that. Now we are going to edit this calendar, make exceptions to this calendar. Do we know of any holiday that we will not work? We are in July. When is the next holiday? So let's say Founders Day or Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. So let's say August 4th or something was Founders Day some days back. And there were discussion about whether apostrophe S or S apostrophe. I will not put apostrophe anywhere. Founders Day. When does it start? So you click here, the arrow down. We said is what, 4th July. And now they said holidays that happen on Monday or Tuesday are moved to when? Friday, right? So we will choose 7th August as the holiday. All right, so that is it. Let's see 4th July, 4th August, 7th August. Okay, I've not pressed OK yet. So let me see. Okay, let's see. August. Did I choose this? Okay, so that's it. Exceptions. I thought I typed Founders Day. I didn't. So this is Founders Day. That's it here, exceptions. So on this day, non-working, even though it is supposed to have been a working day. Non-working, Founders Day. What other day? Let's say Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. When was that? I think 21st July or something. 21st September or something. It's a Monday, so we will move it to Friday.
Yes,
This one, yes, sir.
it's because you didn't select the calendar the MS project calendar.
Yeah. Let me see. I didn't even check. You want to change calendar base for this one? Let me see. Yes, let me see. Right. Thank you. Right. So, Kwame Nkrumah, Memorial Day. So, September 25. Okay. Let's go to change working time. Let me select my calendar. Let's go to September 25, August 7th. Right? So this is how we enter exceptions. Now, there are holidays that do not fall on specific date. They follow a pattern. Example being Farmers' Day. Farmers' Day, when do we celebrate Farmers' Day?
Friday, December.
First Friday, December.
First Friday. So with such exceptions, once you enter the name of the exception, you click on details. Once you click on details, it's non-working, right? You are converting working to non-working. And Farmers' Day is celebrated once every year, so it is yearly. And it is not on a particular day, it follows a pattern. So yearly, then the pattern, then you choose. So Farmers' Day is the first Friday of December. When do we want to start? We want to start this on this from, we are in what? July. So we are starting from this day. If the project is a 1 year long project, maybe it can end after one occurrence. If the project is a 3 year long project, maybe after 2 occurrences or after 3 occurrences. Or if you know of a specific date, you end by, and then you state the date you want it to end. Then you pick it, all right? But it is easier to use the occurrence. Once that is done, you click OK, then that fixes it. So when you go to December, the first Friday of December is 4th, right? So when you check it for 2027, 2028, it will be there. What this means is that you cannot schedule any activity on this day. You can do for Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year, and New Year Eve, and any holiday that you know you will not work. Those will come under exceptions. Is it clear up to this point? Any question?
Just
Let's look at work weeks. Work week is a standard working days that we work Monday to Friday. If we want to alter this permanently for the project, this is where we come. Now, I've mentioned that with exceptions, they are temporal. So for example, I can say weekend work in August. So I want to work on Saturdays within August. So what I'll do is that once I enter this, I come here, details. Then I come to week or even month, right? But I will say week. I'm going to work on Saturdays within August. How many occurrences? 4. So it means the 4 Saturdays within August, we are working. Apart from August, the rest of the Saturdays, we are not working. You see, it is non-working. The Saturday is non-working. So what do I need to do? I need to change it to what? Working time. And I need to specify the periods that I'll work on that Saturday. So maybe that Saturday, because it's a Saturday overtime, I'll not come at 8. So I'll start at 9. So I'll click here, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Oh. 9 a.m. to 12. And then I'll come back at 1 and I'll close at 2. So we work from 9 to 2. Now, you may not give the break, but the software will not allow you not to split it. So you can have it here and know that you work from 9 to 12, 1 to 2. But you work straight 9 to 2 without breaks when you go on the field. Then you click OK. Let's go to August. In August, first week, second week, third week, fourth week, we are working on Saturday. When you click on any of these, non-working time has been turned into a working time from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 to 2. Exception, weekend work in August on this calendar. These are also exceptions. So you see that when I did this exception, it is limited to August only. When I come to work week and I decide that on a particular day, I will not work. If I make any changes here, that change is permanent throughout. So let's say, for example, I will say, what can I even give it? Let's click this and go to details. When you come to details, you see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You see that the duration or the work hours are here, but they are faded, blanked. Okay, it's been blanked behind the scene. Saturday, there's nothing there. Sunday, there's nothing there. If I choose Monday, I have options to alter the time. If I make any alteration, it affects all Mondays on this calendar. It will not be limited to any particular day or any particular Monday. It will change all the Mondays. So if on your project, you will not start work at 8, but you start work at 9 throughout the project, then what you do is that you will select all the days here, the work week here. You highlight one. On your keyboard, you click on Control, and then you pick the rest. Once you are done, they say use project default time for these days. This is the project default time. Set days to non-working. You can decide that on a particular Monday, I'm not working. Or on a particular Tuesday, no, not on a particular, all Mondays, I'm not working. All Tuesdays, I'm not working. So let's see. Let's set this to non-working. It will change all the Mondays to non-working. All the Mondays throughout, it will make it non-working. It means that this becomes your default work week, Tuesday to Friday. Let's say that we work on Tuesdays through Fridays, but we will start work at 10. So you select them. And then you change the working time. Set days to this specific working time. We will start work at 10. To 12, and then 1 to 4. That will become the default time for the entire period. So any changes you make here, it becomes the default for the work week, the entire work week. But if you want to make a change and limit that change to a specific month or period, you do that at the exceptions. So currently, our work week has been reduced from 5 days to 4 days, Mondays to Fridays, because we have altered the work week. Is it clear to this point? Any question?
I'm good.
We are many here. Luis, Umar.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Benjamin.
It's okay.
Okay. So this is how to navigate. You create a calendar, you make sure you assign the calendar, and then you create your exceptions. And then if you want to modify the work weeks, this is where you do the modification. And once you finish, you click OK. Exceptions, you can make different exceptions. Days that you work, half day, and so on and so forth, all right? You can make a particular non-working day a working day. You can make all the Saturdays, okay, work week. So here, Saturdays non-working, right? So you set the day to working. Then you give it time. You work from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That means that all the Saturdays in this calendar we are going to work. Right? All the Saturdays we are going to work. All right, so this is how we go about the calendar. So let me leave it like this, but you can create your own calendar and do your assignments with it. But once you are sending me your assignments, give me an idea as to the kind of calendar you've created, whether you made a work day, a non-work day, and so on. In fact, I will also check, I'll see. All right, so I click OK. Now, once we have created our calendar, the next thing we need to do is to assign the calendar to our project. So we come to project information under the project tab, properties group, project information. When do we want to start this project? So let's say we want to start this project a week from today, -1, so 17th July. And we have stated that the project will be scheduled from the start date when we are looking at the back end. Today's date is the 11th. When is the next status date? We haven't started anything yet, so we won't pick any status dates. I will talk about status dates later. All right, status dates. And then we'll show it on the Gantt chart. Calendar, we need to assign the calendar to the project. What calendar are we assigning? We are assigning the MS project, July 2026 calendar to this project. Priority, let's leave it like this. All tasks begin as soon as possible. So that is a task description type. Statistics, we don't have anything here to show the match yet. When we start, you will see. When we start updating, you will see that. So let's go back to project information. We have it here. Let's click OK. The calendar has been assigned. To the project. So now everything we will do, it will pick the project calendar. And because of what we have just done, see the scheduling is starting from next week, Friday, for the auto schedule. So all the scheduling that you are doing, if it is automatic, it will start from here. All right, it will start from here, next Friday. That's when it will start from. Manual, you need to state it yourself because you entered it manually. All right, so that is what we have here. Any question? You change your working time. Once you create your calendar and everything, you click OK. Then you come to project information. You configure it. You assign the calendar you've created to the project. You click OK. The next thing we are going to look at is tasks and their relationships. Tasks and their relationships. We've set task scheduling to auto scheduling. So we will come here to click on the task tab. So when you right click, you can do whatever you want to do. You have a lot of options. All right, so we will delete this. Right, so we have a clean slate. So we want to then talk about tax and their relationship. What is a tax? A tax is the basic unit of work to be performed. The work to be performed is what we call tax. All right, and we know that we have manual scheduling or manual tax and auto tax. We've explained that, and we've looked at examples or illustrations, okay, to buttress that. What tax is manual and what tax is auto, okay. Now here, we have the tax name, duration, start, finish, predecessor, and so on. With this software, even though, yes, it helps you to be able to do your project or navigate your project and all of that, you should know what you are doing because you are going to feed in the inputs. So you should know what you are feeding into the tool. All right, so we have what we call project data. So what data do you have? The data should be the tax types, the activities, their durations, when they are starting, when they are supposed to finish, and then the logic, and then the resources. You should have the resources also available. So that is the stage we are now. So what I'll do is that I'm going to send you some activities via email, or I'll put it on your website, on the WhatsApp platform. Then you populate this sheet. And then you populate the durations, the start dates, the finish dates. So when we come next week, we will do a few things such as the linking, creating subtasks, creating milestones, okay, summary tasks, and all of that, and then determine the logical relationship, and then populate the resource sheets. Then we can begin the updating process. So that will be your assignment. I will give you the tax, and then you populate it. So by the time we come, I would have done mine, and then we will take it from there. All you need to do is that input the tax there, right? And then the duration. And so I think I have something here. Give me a second. Let's do something together here before you go. I have 10 minutes. So general. Before I do that, I think I'm making a mistake. Let's agree on what project we are doing. I think that is the starting point. What project are we taking? Some people took a building project, some people took a road project, some people took wedding, funeral, engagement. What project are we taking? So based on the project, we will determine the tax type. I want something that we can all contribute, we can all relate to, so that the learning will be good. I don't want to impose anything on you.
Constructing a church auditorium.
Okay.
Or auditorium, yes.
Cathedral.
National Cathedral now.
The auditorium I'm talking of is not it's not cathedral matter. It's just a small auditorium.
Okay.
That can take you maybe 1 year or two to finish.
Okay, but we should also make sure that because we have limited time, it should be something that it will not be too overbearing, so that we can get the general overview so that we can continue. Usually, when the tasks and all of that are defined, the rest you can continue after we show you how to update it, how to track the report, and how to track the progress. You can do. So then what I'll do is that as part of your assignment, as part of your assignments, you are going to work as a group to define the activities that will go into this work. All right? You are going to define the activities that will go into this work so that next week we will fill in or populate this. All right? The activities we will break the activities into groups. So maybe say, let's say, substructure, superstructure, finishing, exterior, and landscaping. All right, so we will have these 4 key milestones. We may have some sub under these. So please, I'll put James as a group leader. You galvanize all of them. You meet virtually, or you discuss it as a group. If you need a Zoom link for your meetings, I will create one for you so that you meet, you discuss it, you define the tasks so that when we meet, you share it with me latest by Thursday or Friday so that I'll go through so that when we meet, we use that to, because next week we have to finish this, finish the resource, and then begin updating on the 3rd week so that on the final week, we start generating reports. So next week will be action-packed. So first, I want the activity list. And then I want the resources. These are data, okay, project data. And you are the project managers. So you are going to feed me the scheduling professional with this data so that I can put it in the software to generate the schedule for you. So for your assignments for this week, before we meet next week, I want the list of activities. And James, you are the one I'll call. So put pressure on them. If anyone is not cooperating, let me know. I'll hold their set for some time after the training.
Yeah, then they buy the beer.
For all
Yes.
I'm advanced in age, so
And so that's why they
you want me
listen to
to
you.
impose my age on them or what?